So I want to talk a bit about Bitcoin and Lightning. So I'm going to use this opportunity to do a bit of a case study about the process of you had a solution, you had an idea about how to make Bitcoin or the Lightning Network better. Now what? So we don't have a foundation. Shout out to the amazing foundations that are out there. I love it, but Bitcoin is a bit different. So we'll talk about what you do with your great paper about the Lightning Network or with your great solution for Bitcoin and so on. So before we dive in, I do want to tell you about the Bitcoin Research Day that is happening in New York on November 7th and about the Bitcoin Research Prize. So if you want some more motivation for your Bitcoin research, here, this slide will return at the end if you want to look into this a bit more. Cool. So our case study that we're going to use is the jamming attack. We've done the whole Lightning Network thing. So blockchains in general have throughput limits. Financial transactions have a very good trick. You do secure payments immediately and then settle them in batches. So these are our credit cards, for example, and in Bitcoin, we do this over the Lightning Network. Cool. I'm guessing most of you are familiar, so we'll swoop through this. Feel free to stop me if there are any questions. But in general, to open a Lightning channel, each party locks some funds. For simplicity, Alice locked 3 Bitcoin, Bob locked 2, and now Alice wants to pay Bob a single Bitcoin, so they update the channel state to Alice having 2 and Bob having 3. This happens only between the two of them, and only when need be they will go on chain and tell everybody that the funds have moved. But there's no limit to this. They can send money back and forth. And more relevant to us is the fact that we can also use this to pay from A to C, from Alice to Charlie, even if they don't have a channel between them. So Alice will send 1 Bitcoin to Bob, Bob sends 1 Bitcoin to Charlie. And in more detail, so this is a bit of foreshadowing, the way it works is that Alice and Bob lock a single Bitcoin, Bob and Charlie lock a single Bitcoin, then Charlie releases this, takes it, and when Charlie does it, Bob has the key to take his part, okay? So this was a quick intro into routing in the Lightning Network. Cool. So you want to start by writing a paper, getting it implemented. Step 1, there are problems everywhere. If you don't have an idea for what to research, what to work on, the world is out there. For us, the question of jamming was first brought up in the mailing list in 2015. You see throughout the years lots of ideas popping up, people sending things, a lot of them in 2020 because it was COVID, we were all bored and thinking about old problems. And you'll see this thing where if it's a more complicated kind of problem, people will send ideas, there will be some discussion, but there won't be a lot of progress unless somebody really jumps on the question and decides to work on it. But again, step 1 is really easy. The historical mailing list, we'll talk about other places where you can look for all the things that people know for years are a problem and somehow didn't happen yet. Cool, so this thing already known from 2015 is the following thing. Right, we were talking about Alice trying to send to Charlie. There is funds locked in the channel, and then Charlie can just throw away the key and the funds are jammed. Charlie can decide that for whatever reason, these funds are going to be stuck in purgatory until 2 weeks, give or take. This could be different times. After 2 weeks, Alice can claim her funds back. They're not sent to Bob, and the same with Bob, There's no compensation for Alice and Bob for their funds being stuck in the situation. Charlie did it, and it's up for Alice and Bob to continue with their lives. And in general, channels have 2 types of scarce resources. There's the liquidity, and there is also transaction slots. Right now, we have more of them. We're probably going to go into a bit less. but a Lightning channel can support safely up to 120 in-flight transactions, that it's transactions that are still locked and not resolved. So if I'm an attacker and I want to completely stop the financial movement from Bob to Charlie, for example, I just send 120 very, very, very small transactions to myself, not resolved. This channel is dead underwater until somebody does something, or until these 2 weeks pass, and then I can come around and do this thing again. Transaction fees are paid in the Lightning Network currently, again, some foreshadowing, only upon success. So I can hold for 2 weeks and then fail, and it doesn't cost me anything. And for the channels that I attacked on the way, it costs all of their liquidity and ability to use their channel. If you're a routing node, that your reason for existence is fees, hard life right now. Cool, so this is the jamming attack problem. Great, you found it, you're looking at it. Is there a question?
Yeah, can you not just force close the channel?
Yes, but that's expensive.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah. So you can force close, this is an option, but then, yeah. But it costs more to you than to the attacker.
Yeah.
Okay. So step 2, write a paper. First of all, understand the system limitations. For example, there are a bit of a no-go zones that you should be aware before you start working. In the Lightning Network, reducing payment success is a big no-no. Everybody gets very upset about it if you suggest it. In Bitcoin, you say the word hard fork. Bitcoin developers, they stop listening for various reasons. So you really, really need to understand the world you're working in when you're suggesting some solution that you want to see through to implementation. Explore existing discussions. Also, it's very important. First of all, it's super helpful. It will save you work. But also, when you go and talk to the developers, you'll be speaking their language, understanding what worries them, what they tried, what they didn't try, where are you right now. Talk to subject experts. Do this early. We learned it the hard way. But yeah, whenever you have ideas, Bitcoin developers, Lightning developers, they like talking to people. So if you have done the homework of understanding the system limitations and the previous discussions, they will be very, very open to talk to you, see what can be done. They don't want to write papers, so if you're in the research side, you shouldn't worry about it. If you're going to open a startup, they're the people you're going to want to hire anyway. Talk to subject experts early. It's going to save you a lot of time later on. And yeah, so subject experts and developers in general. Cool. So we did most of it before writing the paper, less so with the subject experts. And then we published it, we started working. And then later on, a very, very smart guy by the name Matt Morehouse came and said, have you thought about this variation of the attack? So that took us a few good months back. We figured it out, but I can't say talk to subject experts more before all of that. Cool. So we understood the jamming attack. We came to the writing paper. We saw what the devs already thought about. So we mostly learned things that don't work. For example, monetary solutions just wouldn't work because the cost for an attacker is going to be either too low, and then regular users can still use this, but the cost of the attack is too low. And on the other side, if we put the cost very high in the upfront fees, for example, then the attack becomes expensive, but regular users don't want to use it. So in many cases, there's just no correct price to say, okay, you want to send through me, pay me X. The X of the user is significantly smaller than the X that the attacker will care about. So vanilla monetary solution doesn't work. Reputation solutions don't work because if we're thinking about the jamming attack where Charlie threw out the key and disappears for 2 weeks, sure, we know that someone is making problems, somebody is attacking us. But then reputation can be really gamed, because if I say like, okay, the moment that I consider my neighbor problematic is if it takes more than 30 seconds to resolve. Sure, the attacker resolves after 29 seconds and resends it. It doesn't cost them anything. Again, in Lightning right now, you don't pay for failure. So you can really, really game the reputation system pretty much however you try to build it. So this is what we learned from the work of devs and discussions in the mailing list. We thought about it, and then we had something to tell the devs. Not all jamming attacks are the same. Thinking about this attack as one thing that we need to resolve with one silver bullet is probably not going to work, but we can combine different methods, different approaches to actually find something that works. Cool, so 2 flavors of jam. There's going to be a slow jam and a quick jam. So the slow jam is the first thing that we talked about. Charlie throws the key for 2 weeks. It takes hours or days to resolve, depending on parameters, while the quick one is a matter of seconds. So if I'm imagining the threshold to be 30 seconds to resolve, a quick jamming attack is me sending something, resolving after 29 seconds, and then doing it again and again and again. I can keep doing it for 2 weeks, but then I never meet the threshold of what somebody thinks about as a jamming attack. So the slow jamming attack is pretty easily detectable. You see a behavior that is strange. You can tell that you don't know who because of the privacy, but you know that somebody is doing something wrong. While in the quick attack, it's hard to tell, like, is somebody attacking somebody with a jamming attack, or did somebody do a very bad work on their code and their payments keep failing? It's difficult to pinpoint if you're being attacked in a quick jamming attack. So the solutions are also different. For the slow attack, because it's so easy to detect, it's clear that something is happening that shouldn't happen naturally with bugs and things like that. We can use reputation. While when we're looking at quick attacks, we do have to use fees. But because of the nature of this attack, that you have every few seconds, you have to send payments, the bill for the attacker really goes up. Whilst if I'm just sending one payment, the fee is not that bad. I don't care about this that much. Cool. So the overview, we have local peer reputation. It's aimed at the slow jam. Each node assigns reputation to its direct neighbors. So this is something each node thinks about its neighbors. It doesn't tell anybody about the reputation they think. They just use this reputation to allocate protected liquidity and slots that will be used only for neighbors that they can trust. So this is the reputation part. So you build the reputation over time. It will cost you money in fees to grow this. So if you're just a regular node, the fees that you're paying anyway will count towards your reputation. And then if an attack happens, you will be allowed to use protected liquidity and slots that are only for nodes that we trust. On the other hand, we also have unconditional fee. This is for the quick jamming. You pay even if the payment fails, okay? So you send a payment, you send a very, very small fee. So we're talking about like 2% from the fee you are expecting to pay. These are the numbers that we're looking at. It doesn't really change a lot of the experience, but it does compensate the jam nodes. Okay, so if somebody's trying to do a quick jamming attack, they have to pay me, and with time, this can accumulate to something pretty nice. So, how are we doing with time?
We lost our
Oh, okay,
chair,
yeah.
so I don't know.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, let's go. I like the decentralized structure here. Nice. So reputation, as I said, gained for sending good payments, resolving, lost for clear jams. It takes a long time to build reputation. You can lose it very quickly. And the reputation allows access to restricted slots and liquidity. Cool. Unconditional fees. Fees currently are charged only for success right now. Like This allows jamming. It also allows sending spamming. It allows probing, which is an attack on privacy in the Lightning Network. There's a whole lot of world of problems that come from the fact that you pay only for successful payments, and unconditional fees together with jamming will also help the things here. And the one question we kept getting when we talked to devs and others is, data infrastructure is, what about the UX? How can you take unconditional fee? How can you make me pay for something that failed? And the truth is, it's okay. You can just keep retrying, and the amount of retries, so the setup there is the fail probability, and the amount of retries is pretty small, especially that failing numbers right now are pretty good. So, okay, so you have to retry twice. You have to retry 3 times. The fee that you pay for failed payments is so small that at the end you will not see a lot of movement. And if you are working on a wallet, then you'll say, okay, the fee will be maximum this, and then in most cases the fee will be less, and people are rarely upset for paying less than you told them they're going to pay. Okay? So these are all of the things that from talking to devs and people that work on wallets and so on, we understood that we have to cover in our paper to get any movement forward. Cool, the paper is there. We talked to some people. Now we want to spread the word. Okay, step 3, send it out to everyone in the hopes of getting a champion that will push this forward, because you do need somebody that is involved in the community. You want a developer that will say, this is what I'm going to do. Okay? And a lot of the developers, it's more true in Bitcoin, but it's also true in Lightning. They have grants, they have a lot of freedom to what do they want to do. So you just need to catch somebody's curiosity and make them be your person. And the way to do it is, we have the Delving Bitcoin forums, which is my favorite form of communication these days. There are mailing lists. You can just reach out to relevant people, just drop them an email, find them, talk to them at events and so on. A lot of people have grants and are looking for a flag project. And then in this example, if you have a problem that is known and floating around for years, and you come up to a dev and say, hey, let's solve this together, it might work. And it did work. The person working with, her name is Clara, so we also get confused all the time. So people think we're just one person that does both the research and the development. But if you can't find somebody with a name that is sort of like yours, it's also okay, it's still good. So these are this is where I would go to send a message forward. Have some understanding of the process. So in the Lightning Network, there are the Lightning specifications. Lightning has 4 main implementations that follow joint specifications. So this is the place where you need to go and say, I want everybody to have reputation. I want everybody to have upfront fees. Okay, so there's the document. You need to add things there, and then each implementation will need to implement it in their own way. Bitcoin Core has beeps. It's a bit of a different process, but still it's at the end, there are the beeps where changes to Bitcoin Core are discussed, and Bitcoin Core is the main implementation for Bitcoin, so there's no need for a spec. So you just go directly in the beep, okay? So the first thing you do is you send a proposal, usually through the mailing list, Delving Bitcoin, and so on. There's going to be a lot of discussion, a lot of feedback. You do need to be present there to explain your paper, to explain your research, to explain your ideas. Then you'll move on to suggesting changes to the Lightning Network spec. People will start talking about specific implementation problems. We had average of things, and people said, like, yeah, I'm not going to keep record for 2 weeks. Give me something else. Give me some moving average. Give me a different window. You can help there with changing your ideas to something that is practical, that has a better chance to be implemented. Then this is specifically for Lightning. You need 2 implementations to implement whatever you're suggesting, and then to see that they can still work with each other. So unlike Bitcoin Core, where there's this one implementation, and Lightning there's a bunch, and when you have 2 that change made the changes in light of the spec, and they can still communicate with each other and can send funds to each other, and it's all good, this is when everybody goes, amazing, we're going to deploy it. So again, the proposal, send paper over the mailing list, share blog posts, because papers are long and have a lot of acknowledgements and past research that a lot of the developers just don't particularly interested in. They just want to know, okay, what do I need to do? Building Bitcoin, again, great forum to send your ideas. For the spec, there are regular calls that you can just ask to show up and talk about your idea. It will be much easier after the proposal phase because people that are interested will know what you're talking about. You can post updates on GitHub, which some of the devs, this is where they just hang out, so you can have an issue that you continue to update with the changes. And the spec calls that I mentioned earlier, these are your forum to come with your ideas and put it there. Again, in Bitcoin, it's a bit different, but at the end, it's the same spirit. It's the Dublin Bitcoin Forum. There are regular meetings. Find a champion and help them to push from your proposal to the deployment. You don't even need to do the interop part. Cool. Step 4. Profit. This is, not my department, unfortunately, but there are grants, there's the research prize, you could get funding before, you could get funding after. Sometimes this thing spin up into their own companies and so on. I'm the head of, Chaincode, I'm the head of research, so step 4 is the moment where I go, well, this got deployed, amazing. What's our next thing? So this is my step 4, but your step 4 can definitely be something else. So we think we're good with jamming. There's so much more to do. Route discovery on the Lightning Network is a very, very interesting question because you tell people, well, we have this graph and we need to find the route, and they go like, okay, why aren't you like DFSing like a normal person or something like that? And then you're like, well, no, this is actually much, much more complicated. There's probabilistic considerations, there's lots of unknowns, lots of work went into there, but this could really benefit from a deep dive. Liquidity management, again, in the Lightning Network, huge problem. Privacy, in the Lightning Network, we talked about probing, there's a bunch of attacks. There were some solutions, but it's a minefield, just go over the mailing list. There are a few, I think, good papers waiting to be written, more in the context of Bitcoin, but still relevant to Lightning, of course. The whole post-quantum cryptography, this is really catching pace. There's a lot of work done there, a lot of work to be done if you're more on the cryptographic side. There's enough service attacks over the peer-to-peer network, both on Bitcoin and on Lightning, a bunch of other things out there. The system has been around for quite a while and problems just keep occurring, so you can choose the one that you like more. Cool. So just the main takeaways: talk to subject experts early, ask for their input, see what were the previous efforts, because this is going to save you a lot of time. Identify the interested parties. Identify who are the people that, if you make a change, might either champion you and help you or push back significantly for various reasons. Understand the community you're working inside, and understand limitations and priorities. So again, no hard forks, even new opcodes. It's an uphill battle, so you'd better be offering something really, really good if you want that to happen in Bitcoin. Again, in Lightning also, you need to offer something good if you want to make big changes. The smaller changes you can make to make the system better, well, the better. In Lightning, for example, payment success, anything that will put at risk the payment success will really get pushback from almost any party. Yeah, and cost optimization, much more in Lightning than in Bitcoin, but also in Bitcoin, if your solution, for example, makes things 10x more expensive, it won't happen, almost probably. Okay, so understand the limitations, understand the community, be in touch, find a champion, and yeah, you'll go from paper to implementation. So again, there's the Bitcoin Research Day happening on November 7th, and the nominations for the research prize are open. Yeah, it's for papers published in the past 3 or 4 years, the exact date you can see there, that had something to do with Lightning or the Bitcoin network. There's going to be a really nice committee working on this. Yeah, and we'd love to see you in New York.
All right, it's a good time for a quick question. No, just a quick one. If not, we can just move forward.
I'll be around.
Thank you.